That's it. So what happens is we just talk about all the good things that are happening around us amidst all of this nonsense, just to get ourselves in the right sort of mind frame, because everybody, does various things during the day, and then they come to this session, and they're not really having checked out. So that moment sort of helps us get into the groove of what really is happening. So if I can just put you in the spot, and you spend about 3 minutes just telling us about the things that you're grateful for in this period, and yeah, take the time to shine.
I'll try. I've had quite a lot of kind of different conversations with friends over the last week or so, and I think over the last 5 weeks actually. And I think first and foremost, I'm grateful for that, because we actually, I think we touched on this or the guys touched on it last week about your ability to kind of connect and pull people together. And we're very lucky that we do live in a world where it's not quite the same as being able to actually see each other and go for a coffee or a beer or whatever, but it's as close as it can possibly be. But I think the thing that's kind of come up is, with all of the people that I've spoken to, it's just this time for reflection. It's a really irregular time. There's a lot of really awful things kind of happening in the world, and it's the thing that you're doing as well, which is trying to find the positivity and keep going with those things, because if you just dwell on the negative all the time, it's good to kind of pay attention to it. We have to acknowledge it, but it gets pretty hard going if that's kind of what happens to you. But I think definitely a time for reflection, and I'm very grateful that I have kind of the ability to do that at the moment. I think, I'm very lucky in the sense that, I'm furloughed across here in the UK. That's the situation I'm in. But I will have money coming in. I will still have a job to go back to at the end of this. We have food on the table. I don't have anything to particularly worry about with my days, which is a very fortunate place to be. And I know there's definitely colleagues of mine and other people that I know who don't have the same position. They were kind of fighting paycheck to paycheck already, and now it's even worse because they're getting 80% of something and they don't really know what that is. So I think having the time to reflect, and just a general reflection on the fact that we are lucky and we run around all the time, and we're crazy and we're working hours of the week and we're rushing there and we're rushing back, and it's just been really nice to kind of step back from it, I think, and just have a think about, although we can be slightly grumbly and go, oh, I can't be bothered, oh, I'm so tired, but actually seeing that it's really not that bad. So.
Yeah. Sure. So there was quite a number of reminders that you came up with when you're talking, because I mean, again, it's just being busy in the day and then rushing and trying to get between things. I think one thing that I haven't done successfully is reflection. Though I'm aware that things could have been worse, and I'm aware that some people are dealing with far worse situations than just being locked into their homes. They're dealing with serious poverty issues. They're dealing with serious domestic conflicts and just intolerance for people they call family. And it happens all the time. And now they're stuck with these people 24/7. I can't imagine what that might do to them. So apart from that, I think a moment to reflect and just say, what is it that really, I like? One thing that I'm certain about is that I have actually figured that I don't need to go out as often as I think I need to, right? Because I mean, now and again, you'll think up of a trip when you don't really have to, and you want to drive somewhere when you don't really have to. And it seems like it's manageable to just be at home suddenly and just keep yourself busy and keeping the brain busy. And I mean, one of the things that you battle to sleep, of course, because you don't get enough, but other than that, it's all positive. Thanks for that, Amber. I really appreciate you coming to the fore, stepping up to the plate. I appreciate it. So Sinothi Sibisi gave us a clip early in the week. Thanks for that, Sinothi, taking time to record that video. To tell us about his subject of interest, which is going to be sharing with us today. So I'm surprised that some of the people that were texting me all week are not here. They're like, oh, I want to do that, you know, and they were researching the topic and the subject and watching YouTubes and all that, but then they don't show up. But anyway,
well, I'm sure they'll join us later.
Yeah, surely. But having said that, Sinothi, do you just want to fire away?
Yeah. Firstly, good evening, everyone. Those that don't know me, my name is Sinothi. And today I'm going to be talking about artificial intelligence and I guess beyond in the future. What does it hold for us? And the term itself, artificial intelligence, I think for most of us, it's been a term that has been there for most of us, introduced through a lot of movies. I know some of the movies that come to mind is one of them is Star Trek. I don't know if some of you are Star Trek fanatics. There's a character there called Data, who's a humanoid. And he takes a form of a human, working in humans and part of the crew of the Starship Enterprise. The other movie that comes to mind is Interstellar, and the AI there is name is Tars. The other movie is iRobot. Some of you watch iRobot, Sunny. And the famous Matrix, the Sentinels of the Machine World. Now, what you'd notice with all these movies, the one common thread is, except for the Matrix, of course, is that the one common thread is artificial intelligence is known or meant to serve the human race. And some of the applications that we see today is either is serving the human race or companies in some way or the other. Like Netflix, they use AI in Netflix to sort of predict the kind of movies that you like based on the movies that you've watched and liked in the past. Amazon Alexa, I think I spoke about it in my introduction. And the ladies, you would know Sephora. Sephora is doing some interesting things with makeup. So they're using AI to customize your foundation according to your skin tone, something that matches your skin tone. As well as Pros. Pros uses customizes hair treatments to match your lifestyle. Now, this type of AI is nowhere near the type of AI that you see in Star Trek, of course, with Data, where you see a full-blown human-like presence. It's more of an application that's meant to serve a specific task and what is known as artificial narrow intelligence. And this kind of intelligence is purely meant to do repetitive tasks, as machines are meant to, or are said to be very good at doing repetitive tasks. Now, I can't go through the benefits of AI without going through some of the threats as well that we see today. The things that a lot of people talk about, even in articles, journals, combined with automations, is it's doing away with a lot of jobs. Machines are taking over a lot of jobs in the industry. We've got machines, AI machines working in warehouse logistics and packaging. The pioneer, I think, behind that is Amazon. There's a prototype, cheetah policeman prototype, which runs faster than Usain Bolt. So which police officer can compete with that? So already now we see an issue in around the police force sector. What about night scope security robots? So when you parked in your malls, those security guards that look after your car, no more. So we'll have robots looking after your car while you're away. Pizza delivery, whether through drones or on the road, and driverless cars, which again is in existence now. So these are some of the industries where we're going to see a lot of losses, job losses. And I guess somehow we've explained it away in saying, okay, look, the solution to the job loss thing, look, we're just going to reskill, right? We're going to retrain, reskill, and we're going to redeploy. I've got my own reservations around that. I don't think that's effective. We're still going to have redundancies and therefore job losses. But one of the interesting things that come out of the AI sector or the technology sector is that now you get new job titles, new careers of sorts, like memory augmentation therapist and defragmentic optic modeler. Where you study for these, I don't know, but these are the kind of things that come with the area of artificial intelligence. Now, where are we taking this, right? What is the future going to look like with AI, right? There's a futurist by the name of Ray Kurzweil who wrote a book, The Age of the Intelligent Machine, which was published in 1990. And he talks about some of the things that we might be seeing in the future when it comes to AI. He talks
Can you repeat that book? Sorry.
The Age of the Intelligent Machines.
Okay. Yeah.
Ray Kurzweil. So he talks of the faster innovation, right? He talks about technology singularity, which means you get AIs building another AI, a better AI than before, and that AI building another AI which is better than the second one that was built. And he talks of faster solutions to systemic issues that we have. A lot of countries around the world have systemic issues, and AI is the solution for these things. And it goes as far as saying when we get to a point where AI networks build other AI networks, and then somehow we manage to infuse them with the human brain, then we start talking about things in the realm of immortality, and we start talking about bodies becoming obsolete, and minds are just connected to other minds to form a web of network of minds. And when we get to that point, when we get to that point, what we're seeing now, when you talk about minds connected as a web of minds, is, for instance, you sent me an article on Elon Musk's Neuralink, where they're trying to merge the brain and AI. Sort of, what is the brain harvesting you sent? So already we're starting to see this. And they have this neural net, which they use if you want to explore the internet using AI. Now, this idea of the singularity of AI minds building other AI, or AI systems building AI systems, lends itself to robots building other robots, right? And if you do this several times, then you start having an exponential increase in intelligence. And one of the things that come with that is, with increased intelligence, what does it mean, right? Does it mean that we start to see the fruition of the prediction of Ray as well? Or you start seeing some of the things that go on the negative side of humanity. Now, Stephen Hawking, theoretical physicist, was more on the negative side of things. So he was of the opinion that we get to a point of technological singularity. That's the point where AI builds an AI builds an AI, and it gets to an exponential level where you get information explosion, and the artificial intelligence will take over, and then what will happen to the human race, which is a big question. Because one of the things that artificial intelligence struggles with is amongst others, is empathy, right? It's creativity within, but one of the things is empathy. So what would it mean to us humans and to us mankind once intellect increases in that nature? What happens to us when we're now at the bottom of the intellectual food chain? And we see this already, not already, but we see the singularity kind of thing happening already. This, if you know the game AlphaGo, it's like chess, but only more challenging, I guess. But the rules of the game are nowhere near chess, are nowhere near chess. So what happens is people develop deep minds AlphaGo, and this particular AI was trained on several AlphaGo strategies, and after several training sessions, it managed to beat one of the world champions, the world champion at that time at Go, and since then it's never been able to be defeated. I think a year after that, they built another version of it called AlphaGo Zero, which learned the game without any human intervention, started developing strategies that are not known to mankind, and is considered today the best game player or a Go player, and beat his predecessor in the game itself. So the idea that this machine is able to come up with strategies unknown to man is for me indicative of the idea that we are, it could or probably reach that stage of where a bot is built another bot and is now better than that bot, and then the next stage will be what exactly? Something that we cannot even fathom, I guess. So in the sense of artificial intelligence now not being narrow, now more than just a single purpose, but with a general purpose, i.e. Artificial general intelligence, and it gets to a point where its intellect is nowhere near what we can fathom. We basically become the sheep in its artificial land for the slaughtering at any point in time. And where does this place us? Last week we spoke about an interesting discussion on economical footprint, the amount of resources that we consume here on Earth, and if there were people like us all over the world living, how many Earths would we need to sustain all those people? That calculator was quite shocking for me. So for me to require 5 Earths, right? So I am a parasite, and if an AI engine deems me to be a parasite and decides, no, listen, Sinothi has to go, you need to flick a light switch on this guy to save the Earth. And again, there's no empathy, there's nothing there. It's just logic. What will happen to all of us? I'm sure I'm not the only one. Vincent, I think you spoke about 7 Earths, so you probably go first. So, this is the concerning part, and And I'm not sure with artificial narrow intelligence, you're able to say, okay, listen, um, we can reskill people, right? Let's go ahead with this thing. We can reskill people. Now we're talking about artificial general intelligence where the risk of human life is on the table. Can we really take that risk? If so, can we then ahead and say, listen, maybe we can build in some laws like iRobot, with iRobot and Sunny. Can we actually do that? Can we actually take the risk of making these things and getting them to a point where it's uncontrollable? And then what would happen to us, especially when they start building one another? I'm talking today, a 3D printer by the name of, is it Dori or Dolo? It's Dolo 3D printer.
Yeah, Dolo.
It can print, Dolo, yes. It can print, it could replicate itself. It can print a replica of itself, barring the electronics. So we're talking about 80% of itself. So you give it a brain, right? Give it an AI brain, which means it can almost replicate itself, right? And then when it does replicate itself, what does it mean for us? And for me, I'm not sure we can take a chance as we're doing with artificial narrow intelligence and say, listen, we're just going to reskill, we're going to retrain. Here we're talking about something else. We're talking about technology, singularity. We as mankind can't even fathom what that looks like. But we're talking about these machines that will get there quite quickly if we give them a chance. And I think these are kind of my concerns about the future. But some of the ideas that are being thrown around also is that, hold on, what if we take these neural networks and make them collaborate with human brains?
So, sorry, Sinothi, you now really have 60 seconds.
Okay, all right, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Great.
What was
No,
it? Was it 10 minutes?
It was 10 to 15 minutes. Charlene, I can't see what you've got there.
Chat disabled.
Yes, I've disabled the chat because you're busy.
Chat disabled.
Because you're tapping about the president. Like, really, he's not on the subject, and otherwise he's busy entertaining you, and I'm not interested.
Vincent is ruling with an iron fist. We can now see that.
We've got a planned subject. What's that?
I appreciate Charlene just working around it. Well done.
It had to be you, Charlene. It had to be you, wifey.
You just wait until I unmute myself, release my voice.
Okay,
it's fine. So, Vincent is our robot.
I'm the AI. Okay. Anyway.
There's a joke in there about artificial intelligence for sure.
So we're just gonna move straight into contributions and questions and stuff like that. Lou is not online. He was meant to ask, and Butterboy is not online. He was also meant to ask. So is there anyone that wants to take up those slots? Tabani, Wise, Richard, Kanya, Charlene, Amy, do you want to take out any of those?
I have to step out or I have to leave.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Sinothi, for the really interesting topic. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you gotta go now, yeah?
I've got to go now. I'll see you guys next week.
Good stuff. Great. So then it's Shloni. Shloni's running away now. It's time for questions. What's going on with you? Shloni, are you there? Jeez. Shloni?
No, I think most people's mics are off, so that's why you actually can't hear them. As far as I could see, Shani's mic is off. Tanya's mic is off. There's quite a few people's mics are off.
Yeah, I don't know why. Anyway, Amber, do you want to fire away? Whoever feels like they need to contribute after that, apart from yourself, Shloni and Tumi. Those are the only three randomly selected contributors. So we start with you, then we take over the remaining time, yeah?
Yeah, super interesting. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. I think it's not something that I have ever considered that deeply before, so I think it's quite interesting to like throw myself into this, and I think that's kind of the point of it. That's a good thing. I guess kind of a question that comes to my head is, you touched on the kind of the ecological stuff, some of the things that were talked about last week, and I guess in my head, I wonder, human beings, not through any kind of fault of our own, well, through some fault of our own, but I think, we've kind of seen we're pretty bad to the planet, and we're trying, I think, quite hard to reclaw that and stop being so bad. I think it was kind of pretty evident when there was all the stuff about, the dolphins were returning to Italy, and all these kind of nice things are happening while we're all stuck indoors. And it's quite telling. Do you think there's any way that, it's maybe the case that actually, and I mean, I don't know if I necessarily believe this myself, but that the human race has maybe just kind of come to a time where it's just being very detrimental, and we've then created this new thing that we haven't really thought about before we've done it, and now that we have, that maybe that's it, our time is up, these new super intelligent things are going to take over, and maybe actually everything would just live in harmony with us being removed, which sounds really bleak, but I don't know, it's just a thought. What do you think?
Yeah. So Hawkins is of the view that they'll just take us out completely. I believe that they'll give us a chance.
Okay,
They'll give us a chance to change our ways, and if we don't, then they'll sort us out. But the very idea that there is now somebody else giving us a chance. Hold on, we were the dominant species here. What's going on? So the idea of that alone is concerning.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess, like I said, this technology singularity, no one understands, no one knows what it looks like. Only the AI, once it gets there, it will understand, and what that means for us, it's very difficult. But personally, I think it will give us a chance. I hope it will give us a chance.
Right. Okay,
It'll remember its creators.
Sony, do you want to fire away?
Yeah.
Sony? Okay. Tumi, you want to go?
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hey, Tommy.
Hello.
Okay, well, mine is not really a question, but a contribution. Okay, this whole topic about robots and stuff, it just freaks me out. I can't watch Transformers, for example, because I just think, like, really, why do we have to put ourselves through all of that? But there is this movie that I recently watched. It's Jexi. Anyone knows that movie?
No.
What's the name of the movie?
Jexi, Jexi. It's about a guy. It's about a guy who loses his phone. He actually drops it, it breaks, and then he buys a new phone. And then Jexi is like the Siri of the phone. So this guy comes from a rich family. Okay, not a rich family, but from a not very social family. He just relied on his phone all his life. You know how we used to reply to mom's message and say blah 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 and stuff. So he really relied on his phone, and then so when he bought a phone and there was this Jexi person, the Jexi helped this guy with his social skills, because he couldn't even make conversations because he was just used to speaking to his phone and what's not. So Jexi was not just your Siri where you ask them to respond to questions. The Jexi was also a life coach. She actually. She's a life coach. So when this guy bumps a girl and then does not apologize, instead he rushes for his phone. Jexi says, "You stupid! Say sorry to her." And at work, Jaxie gives the guy tips like, no, say this, say that. So this guy becomes great and people start liking him and so forth. Fast forward, because now he has developed socializing skills, he leaves the phone at home. And then Jaxie gets upset. When the guy comes back late, like, no, but you're late, you're supposed to come back and we're supposed to watch Isibaya together, blah, 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 like, okay. And then the guy decides, no man, this phone thing is just too much and leaves the phone at home. And the robot, AI, the artificial intelligence called Jaxie, just decides to take all the dirty photos in his phone and sends them to all his contacts. So he came to work the next morning and he was like, dude, what's going on? Why did you send me that? It's like, oh my goodness, because I'm not giving Jaxie the time that I used to give her before. Now she's messing up my life. So I thought, okay, that is fun that I can take. And I enjoy such applications on my phone like Siri. I enjoy the fact that I can say I can receive a PDF text and be like, oh, this is too long, and then I can just select all and speak. So that's artificial intelligence, and it is working for me. I like that it filters my email inbox for me. I like that it allows me to have assistance when I'm parking. You know, there are those things that are positive from where I'm sitting from it, and then there's the stuff about the robots. When do you think these robots will actually come to life? Do you think maybe in the next 100 years or so? Because I won't be able to live in the same earth. As much as I'm only using 2 Fs, but the 2 Fs are not enough for me and the robots.
Yeah. You're talking about when are they going to come to life, and you're talking about the positives that you're experiencing now with Siri, but there's another part of it, which is privacy, right? The moment that they now can predict everything that can happen in your life. I won't mention the name of one of the stores that uses a prediction engine, and then what it does is it starts sending you special deals on the items that it thinks, based on how you've been using your phone, it thinks that you would buy. And once it starts doing that, then it already is entering the boundaries of now understanding you without your permission. So already, I think that's already happening. When they're going to come to life and everything is, unfortunately, it is a technology. With all technologies, you get something called a technology hype. Once there's something new, people jump on it like wildfire. You get research on it without actually giving thought to the alternatives. And that's going to happen. I mean, Elon Musk is working on it. Google is throwing money on research on it. When it will happen, we don't know, but I think it could possibly happen in our lifetime.
Okay, that's Dumi and Sinothi is struggling to come in. She's asked about 5 times to come in, and she's not able to come in. But
open the door.
Well, I've opened the door 10 times already as well. But before I say anything, I don't know if Richard is able to talk. Richard?
His mic is off.
Yeah, he might be listening. All right. I don't know if you'd like to add some stuff here regarding your current cerebral experience with AI.
Yeah, absolutely, I can, and I'd probably is more on I think the phase that's in now, where it's no more just a repetitive process that the computers are learning or what the algorithms are teaching it, but how it's starting to develop its own sense of understanding of how we do things. And I speak from a more financial background, that being my background, either it be trading or tracing market patterns. So you have one system in Cape Town that had already assimilated and priced in COVID-19 as of December. So that model now, and it's what's happening for some of the guys who are able to spend as much money as they can on supercomputers, is that they can benefit. Because the market right now, in as much as it's about 20% down, they are about 123% up. So when people are making losses, and pensioners and all of these people are having their capital eroded, a super machine picked up and ran algorithms and priced and repriced the risk and got to a number that it executed on and traded billions based on that. So what I'm seeing and what I'm slightly getting scared of is where we're advancing to, where data, as it previously used to be, where we couldn't actually sort it out properly, a computer is doing it, and is doing it in milliseconds. And it speaks to the advent of what's happening now. And as much as the unemployment is going to rise, it's fast tracking the development of all of these technological advances that are driven by AI, underpinned by being able to sift through data. And therefore, fundamentally, the shift going into the next phase of this economy is to not even have a lot of people that are going to be assimilated back into the market for employment. And in as much so you kind of think of it in that way, and it's either a positive or not much of a positive, but I mean the economy will grow to an extent where maybe it will develop other industries and sectors and knowledge economies that will be able to absorb the next wave of graduates and individuals that have the skills. But then you expand it more into what AI is learning, which this is just a personal interest of mine. It's more so learning to even better treat, save, and collect information that's helping the brain process. So you get guys like Telsa who are having an AI robot test the launching of rockets before the rockets are actually even launched. And that's the stuff I think is not mainstream yet, and not a lot of people are actually getting around it. But in as much as I think the development of AI, I think we've probably seen the wave of it. What's coming now is more so the implementation of what it does. And those with a capital, call it, will be able to literally take over the world in some way or form.
Yeah.
The next wave of resources is whoever is able to mine data and mine it faster than the next person. And I can tell you this for nothing. So and this is more and more work kind of a setup. We are seeing the 2 hedge funds in South Africa that have drones that are flying all over ShopRite and Woolworths, and they can tell you they will stand on top, or I don't know how many kilometers or how many meters above the shopping centers. They will track traffic for over 3-4 weeks in that specific shop. They will aggregate all of the other shops where the computers are sitting, and they, with an error of about 5%, will predict what ShopRite sales or Woolworth sales will be in that quarter.
Wow.
So you're having a lot of information that's now being gathered by the supercomputers that are up in the skies, be it through some of this flying machines that are up there that are just tracking footprint. Whereas you needed to guesstimate or estimate previously. Is a thing that just stands up there for all the trading hours of a mall or any center, counts and counts and counts and counts, and over time builds an algorithm, and it spews out statistical analysis. And that's where we are. But I mean, that's my 2 cents of this. It's more so of an interest than we we're running something similar. I've founded a small little hedge funds with a few guys where we're trying to run algorithms to figure out how to also take advantage of arbitrage in the market and all of this. So that's a little bit of my addiction.
Sure. Thanks, Richard.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. And integrated with short line figures for accurate predictions. But is that really a bad thing? Who are you asking this question, Charlene?
Is that really a
Is that really a what? What's happening now?
So Charlene, in the context of the drones monitoring traffic and predicting quarterly turnover, she's now featuring herself. She was not picked randomly by the system, so she just thought she must pitch herself in. so she's saying, and integrated with online figures for accurate predictions, meaning that the drones having the ability to monitor traffic and predicting turnover, together with that, with online presence and online traffic, there's far more accurate predictions in that sense. But then the question is, but is that really a bad thing? Is that what you're asking to Richard, or just generally?
I mean, so do I first need to ask permission to speak? Check.
You need to be selected. Yeah, sure. Why you can add some comments after Charlene. You go right away, and then Wise can go straight after you.
Yeah. So for me, I wonder if it really is a bad thing. The reality is that as much as there is all this negativity, in the short space of time, AI is really able to do things that allow us as human beings to free up more time, which enables us to do other things that we wouldn't have otherwise had time for. In automating, we're reducing time, we're reducing costs, and recognizing that there's a need for the empathy. Then maybe as human beings, we start refocusing our skills into that to ensure that we're able to use the EQ we have, or create the value that is more personal, and leave the computers to do the static stuff because we don't need to anymore. And, I recognize the concerns and I recognize the challenge, but I can't help but ask myself, is that the computers or the AI know what we've taught them, what we've programmed. And I always ask myself, the question is, the only reason it is so effective is because it's able to collaborate all of that information and use it all as once. And as human beings, if we were able to truly collaborate and work together, wouldn't we be more effective, given that we have the interpersonal skills and emotions? Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that contribution, Charlene. But I think you are yielding more towards my sentiments regarding all of this. But I look old on my avatar. Fuck off. Anyway, so let me just quickly remove it. Wise, do you want to contribute? I was filling up my drink, by the way.
We're listening.
Yeah.
Hi guys. So I think I wanted to add, and Richard's input was so valuable, but at the same time, I think there was once a question that said, are we already experiencing this some sort of AI, and I think actually we are sort of already experiencing those who usually connect our phones with the car navigation system will notice that the moment you plug in, the moment you start the car, it'll ask you, are you going to the gym, you're going to the office, or you're going home? And
I hate that.
How does it predict that after work you actually want to go to the gym? Straight from the office, instead of saying home, you'll say gym, and all of those things. And then also another personal experience that I've had with these robots was on the roadworks. Some of you will notice on the roadworks, you will have a flagman, a person that will actually say slow down and so forth. And then there was this instance, it was on the N3, they had a robot. There was a flag person, you know, and it was wearing PPE just like a normal human being. But when you get so closer to it, then you realize actually this is just a robot, you know. And it was cautioning traffic. And we all see the cameras on the roads, on, you know, freeways and all of those things, and closer to shopping centers. You always see these strategically placed cameras that either go in pairs or some of them will be three of them, which I've recently learned that the police actually and the people that control traffic, but also the people that track vehicles, they use those cameras to say that your vehicle passed on that position at a certain time. So if like a person that gave that information as a person that works with repossessions, you know, when they want to repossess your car and they can't actually get hold of you, then they'll trace you through that system. No, serious, then they'll trace you through that system, and then they'll know that you went into the Pavilion Mall at a particular time, and they'll go there and they'll wait for you. Or and they'll go there and they'll impound the car from there. You know, so these things are already there, and I guess for us looking forward to the future, probably it's basically an issue of how do we encourage our kids to actually take different paths, you know, and get themselves prepared more to deal with what's to come technology-wise and so forth, you know. But yeah.
Great. Yeah.
So maybe just to respond to Charlene. So these machines are making our lives easier, right? They're making our lives. We don't have to worry about the repetitive stuff. And as I mentioned earlier on, and some of the pain that we have to take on that is reconfigure how we work out the employment issues. So when the repercussions are employment, I guess we can talk about it, but when the repercussions are human life and humanity, then now we're going to start thinking about, do we want to take this forward? And if we do want to take this forward, how do we do it such that our mankind is preserved? And just a quick one, Wise. Your navigator knows you. It knows the places that you go to. It knows around about which time it actually suggests to you. And my question to you, how do you feel about that? Is for me, it's an intrusion, right? It's like someone's monitoring me. I don't know if you understand. And that kind of information is not just available to you; it can be available to someone else as well.
Yeah.
So I think maybe just to ask you, how do you feel about that?
You know, basically, if one had an option, because you know those things, sometimes the phone is just there, and those type of options, you don't always see them. You know, at times you allow location, you know, tracing, you know, for a particular app, and you don't know how far the thing goes. But yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. It is quite tricky, but I think there's less control over it. That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so I'm just gonna let in Ellie. You call yourself Ellie these days? Yes, it's a bit too old to have us be familiar with with ways of calling you afresh. So is that how you go by now, Ellie?
Yeah. My name is Ali. Hello, everyone.
I mean, I don't know Ellie, but yeah, I know the face, but I don't know.
Now, you know Mlu, who's come to
that's the one. That's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
So in high school,
Blue is dead, unfortunately.
in high school, we used to call him Alpheus, and he used to hate it, right? Because he was Alpheus. I know him as Alpheus. Then somewhere in the middle of it all, it says, "No, no, call him Lou." All right, fine. Now he wants me to call him Ellie, so I'll call you Ellie. Please carry on.
I think I think the opening, the icebreaker, because it actually has opened what I'm going to actually talk about regarding AI. And I would like to apologize firstly for just being late. I know technology, but I don't know, the link was not going through. Had some difficulties, but time allowed for me to join at this time. AI, artificial intelligence, Sinothi.
Yeah.
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 No, I'm saying that because I know he's very passionate about Samsung.
Yes.
The thing is with AI,
No. Wait.
My
Wait.
concern.
Let me correct that. I'm not passionate with Samsung. I'm passionate with anti-Apple.
Okay.
That is a whole lot of rubbish.
Yeah.
I've never.
Wow.
I'm anti-Apple. It's not that I'm passionate with Samsung. I can look at anything else.
9 years on, my friend. 9 years on, you're still hating Apple. Come on.
Yeah, bro. We're not gelling. We're not there. We're not there with Apple.
Scared of the simple things.
So Sinothi. The question is that since AI depends on data that it picks up on everyday life and behavior of human beings, how do we curve the previous experiences that we see today in society, where things are not operating at a equal level, where we see there are groups that are disadvantaged and there are groups of advantage. Now AI is going to pick up that habit that is going to store it and then put it out as data and behavior that people will have to then live accordingly with that behavior of AI that it will set, because now it picks up data and then outputs the solution in an instant, because then it has enough data to give you a solution instantly. So now the data that it's picking up, what question the flawedness of it, and what mitigates the data? Because I'll tell, for example, ShopRite tried this AI thing with dolls, and then I don't know if you remember about 2 or 3 years ago, where there was a hoo-ha in terms of a cheap doll and expensive. The black doll is cheaper, and the doll is actually expensive. It was going everywhere in the media. That was actually priced by AI.
It was what? It was priced by AI.
It was like an experiment that Checkers was doing. So now we're finding the output that's getting, it's perpetuating that same narrative. And then what then how do we like analyze the data and correct it? How do we then correct the data? It gives us no room to correct that data, so which means it's creating and perpetuating the very data that benefits those who are actually achieving right now. That's my concern. How does the AI differentiate culture, differentiation? Who analyzes the data? Who corrects the data?
So, if we're talking about a artificial narrow intelligence, we're speaking about an intelligence that has a single function, and that function is to do X, right? Now,
Yeah.
now, there you need human intervention, of course, that you apply yourself to the solution. But if you talk about artificial general AI intelligence, I mean, then you're looking at more of a system that takes into account everything. Now, you remember I spoke about systemic issues. Now, systemic issues could be health issues. It could also be about inequality, which is what you're talking about right now.
Yes.
So now
Yes.
it can bring
Could
in
be many
that as a
things.
factor. Yeah, it can bring in that as a factor, and it's not about what we feed it. It's about what it collects, where it collects it from, and the crunching that it will do, and it will do it on its own in a manner that we can't control. So that could be another concern that you're bringing up as well. That it could be very difficult to steer where we could be going with this.
Yeah, the subliminal outputs, the subliminal solution it will bring.
Yeah. So could it possibly just decide to just, okay, if we look at the LSM band, it picks a number and it says everyone below that we are now chucking in the bin for the sake of the well-being of the country. We don't know, but it is a concern, and it is a genuine concern, and these are the things that need to be taken into consideration when we build these machines. Like I mentioned before, like they're saying that obviously infusing or integrating these machines with the human mind might curb this. We don't know. That's still under experimentation.
Oh, yeah, you.
Right. So we've overrun by well over 10 minutes now, and we've overrun because I just thought that, the last time, we finished the subject 45, I think it was 42 minutes dead on the spot, but then I couldn't have my dinner because people were just texting away. So I thought let me let this die here so that I don't need to entertain SMSs and WhatsApps after this. And by the way, I wasn't even the one speaking. It was Morley speaking. Oh, by the way, he's got a brand new human being. I think his wife gave birth a couple of days ago, which that guy's brave. 2 kids, just like you, Sinothi. So anyway, I just want us to then encapsulate this. As again, I mean, last week I took this onto YouTube so that those that don't attend could interact with the subjects and keep themselves thinking as well. I have very deep connections to the subject of AI, and I mean, I would have loved to just go on and on and on and on, because it's a subject that's very close to me. But I mean, this is a group discussion. It's not anything else but a group discussion. So I kept quiet the whole time. But what I would like to,
I'm saying it's not Vincent's show.
It's certainly not my show, absolutely. But there are 2 things which I think, in all of what we had discussed, I think we missed, apart from the pros and the cons and what this may mean for us. The one thing that I think we did not touch on is the fact that human beings are actually themselves machines, right? So the emotional and the empathy and all of those sort of things are actually signals themselves. Human beings are predictable. Human beings are programmable. Human beings can be controlled. I, as Vincent myself today, I do believe very much so that I am not myself, but I'm a machine of my own self. Right? So that's one thing that we need to consider, that the robotic replication of a human being is something, again, that is not remote to us as human beings. We as human beings are part and parcel of that robotic evolution. We are participating towards developing that subject to be something that is real today. So I don't like the idea of having to assume the fact that all of these things are going to be happening, and I'm just going to be a bystander waiting on the side, just watching things play before me. I believe and strongly would like to believe that this has everything to do with me as a human being. I need to shackle myself off the normality and realize that this is now where the world is going, and I need to be part of it. So whether I'm participating or whether I'm watching, either way, some of us will be part of that evolution, and some of us will just be bystanders. But the issue of AI is a human-driven thing, and I think we can make choices of whether we want to be part of that or not. Don't cut me. Anyway. So that concludes it. I didn't want to be the last person speaking. I wanted to be the speaker, the last person speaking, but it's fine.
I guess.
So
I guess
if you want to close it all for us, yep.
Yeah, I guess in response to your comment, humans and machines at the moment, you're saying it's one and the same thing.
Yeah.
But what they can't figure out at the moment is this idea of emotions. And I think once that part is figured out and is explained in terms of electrical signals or some kind, or can be replicated into technology, then we're there, we're fully fledged, right? We're in it.
Imagine a crying robot.
Imagine that crying robot.
Imagine a crying robot.
Yeah.
I can
need
tell
for
you,
shoulder.
I can tell you now.
That's freaky.
I can tell you now categorically that the function of human emotions can be measured, can be tested, and can be predicted, and can be controlled. That's just my view. But anyway, I will.
That one. This discussion will have over drinks. That discussion will have over.
Yeah.
That one I want to hear.
You wish. This is way more than 5G. Way more than 5G.
Anyway, so I'm gonna post my comments on YouTube, right? And Sinothi, hopefully you can carry on and just type. But yeah, I think that concludes the 20-minute overrun for us today. And thank you so much for coming through. It is nice to see all of you. Jeeves, Charlene, I haven't spoken to you in a while. Yeah, I speak to most of you often anyway. Ember caught you last week, Sinothi last week. So yeah, thank you so much for coming through, guys. And,
thanks, guys.
And meeting. And Charlene is Julius Malema, is like a little Julius Malema. In an international context, she's a Donald Trump.
Bola WhatsApp.
But there won't be drinks for everyone in a long time. I agree with you, my friend. We'll lock down for a long time. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording and we keep in touch. Yeah.
Papunka.
Guys. Okay, cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye, Em. Bye.